I'm Cheryl from Tiny Modernist, and today I am going to go through all of the 2026 releases up to this point. We'll start with January, February, go into the March releases and the new market, Nashville market releases that are coming out as well. So I've got lots of stuff, I think about 11 or 12 things to show you. And I'm drinking a latte from what looks to be like a ginormous mug. It's not so big, but so I may talk a little fast. You'll see what caffeine does to me. All right, so I'll go through stuff, and if I forget any of the details, because I do as I talk, I will put them down in the description, and I'll put links where you can purchase the PDFs. Also, you'll get a list of retailers from my website as well, people that carry the paper charts. So many lovely shops carry my stuff, and then I'll put out details for the Nashville things as well. If you want to pre-order from your favorite shop, I have 4 exclusives that won't be coming out for quite a while, so you can get them all through your favorite online or local needle shop. So I'll start with the January stuff, and we'll just go in chronological order. The first one I want to show you is Winter Foliage Tree. Give you a nice full look there, and then some details. This is a nice simple one. It stitches up pretty quickly. And I don't know about you guys, but to transition in your house decor, like I go from fall and Halloween into Christmas, and then all the Christmas stuff comes down. It's very difficult for me to find like winter things that kind of bridge the gap between all your Christmas decor and then going into spring. Like I don't want to immediately jump from Christmas to flowers around the house. So anyway, so I always like to find little things that can work through the winter season as well, that aren't specifically holiday related. So I've got this one here, and I finished it as a little 3D pillow. I just used some kind of coordinating quilting cotton on the back. This is a twig that I picked up on a walk outside, and some air dried clay, and this is twine with some felt wrapped around it. So there are finishing instructions in the chart, and you could frame this as well, or even just create a little pillow, but I like these little stand-ups. They can go on a shelf for that. And I think I'll just check the fabric that I used. Oh, I used raw natural linen by Zweigart. Yeah, but you could do that on any kind of natural fabric. And so the next one I'm going to show you guys was the Patreon stitch along from last year. And this is, it's a big one, so I got to hold it back for a bit. This is Birthstones and Flowers, and it's available as a full chart, PDF on my website, or a beautiful booklet, which I'll show you in just a second, if you want to go to a paper chart. I just started doing these booklets, and I absolutely adore them. They are like a folded chart, but it comes with a bunch of paper inside, so you'll get the full design in this lovely little stapled booklet. I always try to make my charts look pretty as well. So there's lots of nice big pictures in there and details. So that comes as one big full chart, Birthstones and Flowers. It's one for every month. I also have on my website, I think I would be hard pressed to remember every flower and stone offhand, but I do have a chart on the listing on my website, and it tells you what each month's flowers and birthstone are. Some have 2, like for instance, this I think is Moonstone and Pearl for June, but most of them I just picked sort of like the most common one, even though a lot of months have different stone options and crystal options, and then I chose 2 flowers. Again, some have a few options, but yeah. So each one is in kind of a little decorative basket with the flowers. This one has a lot of backstitching. There's mixed feelings about backstitching. I personally love it. I really enjoy doing it after all the stitching. And honestly, one of these little things, I stitched this model myself, and each one could be done in a couple evenings. I would do usually the stitching 1 or 2 nights, depending on how much time I had, and then the backstitching in the next evening. And I actually quite enjoy backstitching. I know not everyone does, but I do find it adds a lot of nice detail. And there's no way I could have gotten this kind of detail in this small of a space without backstitching, especially on the crystals and things. So this was a really fun one, and you can find that. So those are the January ones. On to February, I have King of Hearts and Stitches, which was also a Patreon design from last February, and now it's out on my website and at shops. It comes with 3 designs. This is the main one. So it's the Raven King, I guess, and I thought I don't know, I just like pairing them with stitches. I always look for kind of unusual Valentine sort of spring things. And so I muted the colors a little bit so it's a little bit more softer rather than really bright reds and pinks. And I like the idea of mix and matching stitching decor with stuff. So he's the main one. Got little hearts with buttons. And then it also comes with two little smalls. So there's the hand with a heart and this little basket of, it's kind of like a traditional kind of motif, but I made them, instead of berries, I made them as little hearts. So all three of these designs come in the one chart. It's just a little folded paper chart. The PDF has all the same information. But yeah, so it comes in there and then the little ones are on the back. Okay, so that's there. And then the next February one is the Neverland tree. So this joins the series of trees that I have, and there's a number of them now. This is the latest one, so it's a sort of a Peter Pan inspired one. It's got all your favorite characters. Yeah, so it's got the just little hints of the storyline. We got the skull and the mermaids. We've got tiger lily flowers, and the Lost Boys, the whole, the Wendy Darling and her brothers, and Peter Pan, of course. And then there's actually two clocks, really. So this is supposed to be the one in London that they fly by, and also perhaps the crocodile, right? So, yeah. So these series of trees are all the same size. So you could stitch them theoretically on the same size of fabric and swap them in different frames, because they all have the same stitch count. And they're all kind of laid out the same too. I don't know if anyone's noticed, but I tend to put kind of like the main like hero or heroine in this section, the bad guy up here, and then sort of assorted characters around. So yeah, so that one's a fun one. It was done on, I think it's called baked clay, I think, from Fox and Rabbit, I believe was the Ada that we used. I'll double check, but I think that's what it is. I want to give shout outs where they're due for fabric dyers, beautiful fabric dyers. So then we'll go into the March stuff, and this is brand new things that are coming out. Some are out on my website already, and they'll all be available to shops from Nashville. And so we'll go through them. The first one I want to talk about is, I guess, strawberry sampler. So this one was the strawberry band sampler. It was Patreon from last March. And so essentially everything that comes out on Patreon gets released for the most part. So far, I think I've only not released like one or two things, but for the most part, it gets released a year later in my website and to shops. So this one's available now, and it's got some really nice details. I did not stitch this model. It was a girlfriend of mine, Trina, and it's on 40 count. So that's why it looks really tiny, but it's actually a fairly decent sized design if you were to stitch it on a larger count. Like I'll just tell you right now, this is only 4x8 on 40 count. She did over 2 on 40 count. It was Alabaster by Zweigart, so it's a nice linen. But if you did it on 14 count, it would be 6 inches by 11 inches. So it would be a decent sized piece if you did it bigger. And this is a 6x10 frame I just found on Amazon, so it fit really nicely into that. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but see how there are some letters that are yellow? And I don't know if you noticed that sometimes samplers do have different colors of letters. And I think, oh, maybe that's just random, or maybe it's just for aesthetics. But I'll tell you, mine actually is a secret message, and it spells out spring. So anyways, if anyone asks you, and you could certainly do them all in one color if you wanted, but yeah, that's my little secret message to you. So it's spells out the letters for spring. Yeah. So I wanted it to look a bit like, has some sort of folksy elements, like that kind of thing, and the little folksy flowers. And this is a little band that kind of doubles, I think, as like I imagine it like a little tablecloth. And then of course we got some mushrooms and not really bluebells, I suppose, but those kinds of things, and the strawberries. So it's got a bit of sampler, a little bit of modern, and a little bit of folksy kind of vibe to it. So I suppose you could actually do, now that I think about it, you could probably do pieces. Like those strawberries actually would be a nice little small, now that I'm thinking about it, or just the flowers. That could be fun. If anyone finishes it like that, let me know. I think that'd be a fun little like pillow or something, eh? Because I really like the details on the strawberries. It's all DMC. This one's all DMC, so it's this is all actual shading. It's not variegated floss or anything like that. And in fact, I think everything I've shown you so far has all been DMC. Yeah, so I'll mention, I do have some specialty floss stuff, and I'll mention that if that's the case. Okay, so next up we've got, I'll do this one, Meet Me at the Beach. And so just a little one. This is actually done with Valdani flosses. And the fabric is Fiber on the Whim Affogato, so it's kind of a beachy sand color. And some of the Valdani floss is solid color, and a few are variegated. So in the blues, I think, and the yellows, I don't know if it's coming through on the camera here, but it's they're variegated flosses, so they're nice and bright. This one was actually an exclusive for a retreat last year, and so I'm releasing it now. I seem to do an awful lot of retreat exclusives and shop exclusives and like that. So there's a select group of people that, had access to this like a year ago, and now I can release it more widely. So Meet Me at the Beach. It's kind of a fun little one. And it does have a fair bit of back stitching, but it's a very small design, so it would stitch up pretty well. And I suppose if you're really against back stitching, you could probably avoid doing the outline on certain things, and it would just be fine too. So Meet Me at the Beach. Oh, and then I'll do this one next. Stick with the beach themed ones, and we'll do the Cross Stitch the Rainbow one that I'm calling Midnight Ocean. And I guess it's the name, I'm just sort of following a trend from my Twilight Moon and then a Harvest Moon. And then I thought, well, I'll just keep with the daytime, references and say Midnight Ocean. And so this is done for the Cross Stitch the Rainbow collaboration. So there's, I think, at least 20 or 25 designers that all every year participate. Different people, it's open to numbers of people to design their own thing, but the constraints are the size. So they have to be 60 by 60 stitches, no bigger. And using the four floss palette that comes up with that year. So this is the Beneath the Waves palette, and it's from Cottage Garden Threads. Let me just double check Cottage Garden Threads. Sometimes I mistake their names. Cottage Garden Threads, and they're actually really lovely to stitch with. The four colors are Citrus is the bright red and orange color. Sizzler is that kind of, I don't know if it's coming through, it's that purpley plum color. Sea Change is the nice bright teal and green sort of variegated colors. And Mariana, I guess for Mariana's Trench, is the dark blue variegation. So I don't know if you can actually see, but it's really they're really quite lovely and bright colors. They were really nice to work with. And then the fabric I used on this is from Manny de Dona, and it's Winter Sea. So really a perfect fabric for some perfect flosses. Like, this is really fun one to work on. This is my 4th year doing Cross Stitch the Rainbow, and I actually participated in the Moo the Merrier, which was kind of like the precursor to all that. So I've been very fortunate enough to be part of this event every year, and it just keeps getting better and bigger and more exciting to work with. So I had a really fun time with this. You can find this pattern on my website. You can find it at shops. There's a link on my both the paper chart and on my website to go to the Cross Stitch the Rainbow website, where you can see all the other designers who participated, all links to their designs. Plus, there's a lot of merchandise this year actually that went along, like thematically. There's some stickers, there's needle minders. I don't even know what else there is, but there's a number of things on the website you can shop, all within this theme. And then of course the floss packs are available from a number of retailers as well. And I think one of the floss colors is a specialty. I think it might be just released for this particular event. So it may be new. I can't remember which one, but So there's some really good designs this year. So I recommend checking it out. Okay, and then for the rest of the March ones, this is the last one, and I'm sure you guys are excited for her. She is the Book Goddess. Okay, I'm gonna just put her up close here, because I have to say her glasses and her purple braids, I think, have to be my favorite. And I don't know if you can read the books, but it says Fairy Tales and Little Women. So I tried to find titles that actually just fit on those tiny little books. So feel free to change that if those books don't suit you, but they were sort of random fairy tales. I wanted to just be a little bit generic, right? So I don't want to like pick a favorite from books, but Little Women just seem to fit well with writing. So, and I do enjoy that book. I actually read my daughter when she was younger, before she was reading novels. We actually went through and read Little Women together. So it does have a fond spot for me in my heart. So then we got cats in the bottom. And then honestly with tea, right, you got to have some cakes and with books, I mean, you got to have tea and cakes. And then she's got the typewriter and books. So yeah, so I'll give you a nice big thing here. So she's joining a number of other goddesses that are already in the series. And just like the tree series, they're all the same count, like design-wise. So if you stitch them on the same fabric, you could hang them all in a series. You could swap them out in terms of their frames, like seasonally or however you like. But it would be neat actually to have a whole wall full of goddesses actually. So there's a number of them. And I'm sure there will be more. I've had some requests for certain ones and you guys have great ideas. So I think I will probably add another goddess or two. Okay, so that brings us into the market releases and a little tea break. Okay, so I have 3 that I can show you and one that I'm going to have to sort of show you just a piece of it because it's part of a secret collaboration. So I'll start with the Goose Teapot, which if anyone is familiar with the Spooky Teapot, that was a Halloween sort of themed one, a very subtle Halloween thing that I have available a couple of years ago. And I was thinking, oh, I should do like a spring version of that. And so this kind of came together with this magnificent goose with her flying ribbon. And yeah, I just had a little touch of gingham. And of course, strawberries are always a nice spring thing for me. So yeah, a little snail at the bottom and mushrooms, of course. So yeah, so that's the Goose Teapot. I'll give you a nice little close up there for you. And again, it's the same size as a Spooky Teapot. So I think I keep suggesting it, but I tend to swap my things out in terms of the frames. I mean, this one's a flat finish on a board, but I really like doing things that can swap out seasonally because we all only have so much wall space. And so if something can work in the same frame or the same spot, I think that can be helpful. And then you can get a nice little series too of things if you want. So yeah, so she, as in the goose, is stitched on DMC. And I can't recall the fabric at the moment, but I'll put it in the listing. I think it's a Zweigart, but I'll double check. Mushroom, I think. But you can just check the description below and it'll tell you. So that one is a market exclusive. It won't be out on my website until May as a PDF, but if you want it before that, you can certainly order it from your local shop, get them to pick it up at Nashville. And if they do go to Nashville and miss it for some reason, they can purchase it through Yarn Tree up until May. And then after that, it will be available for other shops as well. So there's that one. And then we'll go to Spring Bunny, which is a cute little one. And actually, I'll tell you the backstory of this one. So if anyone's familiar with Twas the Night, oh my gosh, what is it called? Twas the Eve of Halloween, I think is what my stitch along was called a couple years ago. And there was a little Halloween jack-o'-lantern in one of the squares. And I don't know, I just love that little face shape. And I thought I should do like a bunny out of that. So essentially this is where the shape came from. He's just got this kind of like funny little like pumpkin shaped head. And then he ended up being sort of a steampunk bunny with the ears and the top hat, of course, because I think that's the cutest way for bunnies to be. And the little bow. And then I just added some little flowers to go around it. So that's the backstory of him. And he's, I don't know, he's sort of like, I wanted it to be sort of like a primitive, like steampunk kind of a look, but with fun colors. And so this one actually uses specialty floss. It's just a blend, actually. Not a blend, a mix of Classic Colorworks and Weeks Dye Works. So, and then the white floss, the like Blanc, is just DMC. Certainly you could use like whitewash maybe or something like that, but sometimes I just find it easier to use white DMC, and then I use the variegated for the color stuff. Yeah, so it's 3 Classic Colorworks and 3 Weeks Dye Works colors. All my charts also do come with DMC conversions. With any specialty floss, I always include the DMC conversion just in case. And of course, it would look different if it was stitched with DMC because you wouldn't see the different color variegation, but I try to match the colors. I actually design everything in DMC first. And then I go to the floss wall. Do you want to see the floss wall? Here. Spin you around. Let's see. Can you see the floss wall? Yes, you can. Okay. There. So, yeah, so I design in DMC first, then I go to the floss wall, and I do have some floss boxes also, and I choose all the specialty floss based on that, because I do find sometimes going the other way is harder. Like if because the lines don't necessarily translate exactly DMC to specialty flosses, so I find it easier to go with DMC first and then find something that's very close. So yeah, so one more full one to show you for market, and this is the Cactus and Caravan bell pull. Let me grab the chart. Yeah, Cactus and Caravan bell pull. So I will show you, because it's a long one. There we are. So it looks very tiny. I stitched this one. It's on 36 count, everyone. I guess I'm getting old because I had to use readers to stitch on this. And I still enjoyed it. I honestly don't think I would want to go much smaller than 36 count as for myself, but I do love how it turned out. So this is so if you were to stitch on 14 count, it would be 4.5 wide by 21.5 long. So it is a fairly long, it gets 300 stitches high. Like it's a decently long piece, and it's got you can see the chunk here and the chunk at the top are just mirror images of each other, so they're kind of like a border. And then the inside has got this fun retro southwestern kind of a feel. And the backstory for this one actually is a girlfriend of mine wanted to, she asked me if I would do a design for her to stitch for her friend who's moved into a new house. And I guess he has a very eclectic kind of vintagey sort of like southwestern vibe. And this is what I came up with. So got some cactuses, and I said, yeah, I said I'd be delighted. And I said, if I stitched one, do you have any problem with me actually selling it? And she's like, no problem. So yeah, so that's where this one came from. Yeah. And I wanted to, like this is actually a little more sort of traditional, so it's got a bit of a Southwest feel, but I wanted to keep it kind of more with traditional cross-stitch, like sampler motifs as well. So, and then some modern stuff in there, like the cacti, and the flamingos, and the caravan. Yeah, so I'm quite pleased with this. I actually, I don't know, this really is my vibe too. Actually, I'm going to put it up in my house. So I hope you guys like that one. But it's also on a Manny Di Donna fabric called the Beach, which also seemed perfect. And then just done with all DMC. So yeah, I had a really good time stitching that. The last one I have to show you is part of a new collaboration this year, part of something called Platitudes, and I will show you the design. I've put some paper up here so you can't see the whole thing, unfortunately, but it will be revealed after Nashville. It's a collaboration between about 20 designers. It was one designer that came up with the idea, and it's a Sunday only release at market. So it's kind of kept a secret. We're allowed to show sneak peeks. It's kept a secret until the Sunday when shops can come and pick them up. And then it'll be exclusive to Nashville shops until August, I guess. So it'll be quite a while, but you'll see the picture after Nashville. But in the meantime, I can just give you little sneak peeks. So it's called, mine is called Peace, Love, and Cross Stitch. And it's, I guess, Plate and Attitude is where the name comes. So they're meant to be finished on a dinner plate. Of course, you could put it in a hoop. I photographed it on a plate, but I'm not going to ship a plate to Nashville. So it's going to just come on a flat finish here. And yeah, so they're all little sayings as part of that. So there is a website, and on the chart itself, there's a QR code that you can go and visit the website. It tells you all the other designers that participated, and with links to their designs and things like that. So somebody has put that website together for us. kindly. And so I think that brings us to the end. That's all the designs up until now. And so I hope that you saw something that you enjoyed. You can certainly ask me comments and questions below, and I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I guess I will see you next time, and hopefully it won't be too far in between. I'm not so great at making all these videos regularly, but yeah, so have yourself a lovely day, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.